Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 12 of the Formula Track Stars Championship. We are live here tonight from the Fuji International Speedway in the Pacific Grand Prix. Mount Fuji, Fuji Speedway sits at the foothills of the Mount Fuji, the highest mountain in Japan, and has played host to Japanese Grand Prix on 4 occasions in 1976 and 1977, and then making a return after its renovations in the mid-2000s, with 2 races in 2007 and 2008. Of course, the likes of Mario Andretti, James Hunt, Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso all taking victories around this track. Looking forward to a great race tonight. 44 laps around Fuji International Speedway. The soft, medium and hard compound tyres are on offer tonight. Drivers have to use all 3 compounds across the course of the race. And looking at the Drivers' Championship standings so far, after 11 rounds, it's the defending Formula Track Star Series champion of NSPUD P666, leading the way on 1,314 points, and he holds it an 114 point advantage over his Mash Spuds racing teammate Punts in the number 47 Toyota powered Dallara SF19. Of course, NSPUD P666 can mathematically claim the championship tonight if he just finishes 6 positions in front of Punts in tonight's race. So a win would mean that Punts would have to finish 6th or better to carry on the title fight until the final round of this championship in France at St. Croix. Of course, the Fuji International Speedway played host to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games that were held a few months ago. Of course, they hosted the cycling events, including the finish of the men's and women's road race, and then of course playing host to the women's and men's time trial events as well. Of course, for our Australian viewers, you might be pleased to know that Australia managed to pick up a bronze medal with Rowan Dennis in the men's time trial. We look to be getting set for qualifying very shortly. 10-minute session to decide our grid for tonight's Pacific Grand Prix. And of course, as I mentioned, soft, medium and hard tyres required to be used tonight, so 12 laps each on each of those compounds as we get ready to go with qualifying round 12 of the Formula Track Stars Series in the Pacific Grand Prix here at Fuji International Speedway. It's going to be JMX who leads the way out onto the track tonight for Pit Lane Esports. Of course, Pit Lane Esports were winners last time out at Brands Hatch. Of course, that was with disappointed at the reins of the car. Unfortunately tonight, disappointed won't be here, so he won't be able to back up his previous win 2 weeks ago, but he'll be relying on JMX and also new recruit Sirik, who'll be driving the second Pit Lane Esports car tonight. We'll be hoping that one of those can manage to pick up the win in this race. Of course, we've got EBM Motorsports fielding Broccolilli, who was a winner at the Italian Grand Prix. He comes around to start his flying lap in qualifying. Of course, JMX leading the way for the field, so he'll be the first one to cross the line and start his flying lap. He heads down this over a kilometre long main straight towards a deep braking into turn 1. As JMX gets hard on the overtake here, looking for a good run through turns 3, also known as Coca-Cola, and then into 100R, a long sweeping right-hander that leads into the hairpin of turn 6. Sweeping exit through turn 7 and straight into turns 8 and 9, which are known as 300R. And then into the Dunlop chicane, heavy braking down into first gear and tight technical chicane, and then a sweeping technical section of rights and lefts, climbing up the Mount Fuji as we head towards the main straight. JMX will be the first car around to complete his flying lap. Let's see what time he puts. It'll get himself to the top of the leaderboard, whether it's for a few seconds or for the whole session, will remain to find out. As JMX starts his blast towards the finish line, let's see what time he puts in. That's 1:22.1. Broccolilli heading into the pits. Loudy Darkmist goes second with 23. Comes across the line. He's on a 124 flat. Slayer goes to the top with a 121.8. Jono Stand on hard tyres actually puts himself in position 4. So that's a good lap from him. Time down good enough for pole position, but it seems like that maybe he was on an outlap there, so he might be one to follow along doing a time lap at the moment. Behind as well. The band's running a livery to help signify his involvement in the Defence Force, member of the Army, so he's got the Army camo displayed across the car. He comes up behind his teammate of Jono Stand, but Gaban's heading towards the finish line now. Let's see what time he can put down on his flying lap. Comes across the line, 122.9, good enough for third position here at this stage. JMX jumps up to second place as well. And Diswood, the CP Motorsports, has jumped up to third place, bumped the bands off the top 3. Let's have a look at what Enspud is doing. He's on the soft tyres at the moment. He's jumped up to 7th place at this stage. Cloudy Darkness is sitting in ninth spot at the moment. Jono Stan rounding out the top 10 in this session here. Just want to have a quick look. Looks like Punts isn't actually in the session, so must have ticked out somewhere. Let's follow along with Little Blacko, who's 2/10 up at the moment through the first sector. And he's just picked out himself a penalty, so that'll put paid to his lap time. So it looks like Punts isn't actually part of qualifying at the moment, which is really going to put him on the back foot, as he's going to have to come from the rear of the grid in this race. We've got Sir Slay 1991 sitting at pole position. 121.93. And Spud P666 has jumped up to 5th place. 3 minutes remaining in this session. Also you have Mr. Lurox 22 jumped in the 3rd as well. We'll continue following along with N-Spud as he's just gone up on the first sector. Looks like setting a fast time here. So he heads towards turn 6 hairpin. Nice smooth exit, quickly on the overtake. Using as much of that overtake boost as possible to try and carry as much speed down straight. He's 3/10 up at the end of the second sector. But Sir Slayer's just gone faster again, so that might change things up a bit. Let's see how much faster he's gone. He's taken a couple tenths off, so N-Spud's really going to need a quick final sector, nice and clean for a year. Make sure that he gets himself in the pole position. Coming around the final corner. Good exit there, just a little bit of wobble actually. Hopefully it doesn't hinder his chances too much. He comes towards the finish line. Let's see what time he's got. 121.5. Not good enough for pole position. Just 3rd place. So that keeps their Slayer 1991 and JMX on the front row of this race at the moment. Let's follow along with Diswood now. So we're down into the final 2 minutes of this session. Sitting 4th in the championship at the moment, just behind Disappointed, who won't be here tonight. It looks like this one's run a bit wide there, so maybe he's just gearing himself up for another run here. Zurich sitting in 5th spot at the moment. Well, Zurich making his debut for Pit Lane Esports. Originally joined the series a few months ago in the TS3 Touring Car Series and won a number of races early on the season. Then his driver rating went from B to A, so he decided to make the move out of the series. What's he done here? He's gone faster, still 5th position, and Loudy Darkness jumped up to 4th place as well. Let's see. N-Spud's probably gearing himself up for one final shot here at pole position. JMX is in the pit lane, so his session's done. So Slay 1991 still leading the way here. As we wind down the lap, seconds to the end of this session. Blacko up ahead. There we go, Jono Stan coming to finish his session. He's stopped. He's not going to improve his time. Let's see who comes last. It's Lurox. Let's see what time he puts in. Lurox goes to the top by the barest of margins. 0.02 of a second over Sir Slayer. What Sir Slayer got in store? Sir Slayer hasn't got an answer there. JMX on his final lap here. So that looks like a very long lap, so he won't be doing anything. Follow along with N-Spud P666. spot. Proves his time. What can Spud do here? And he jumps up the third place with that time. Sort a bit off the pace there. Broccolillion in 7th. Try and find a car that's hasn't done a lap. Gaban's down in 11th. Here comes Dano. He's crossing the line to end his session. So it looks like all the times are in. Lurok's 22 taking pole position here by 0.02 of a second over Sir Slayer 1991. And our championship leader Spud P666 in 3rd place. Pit Lane Esports teammates JMX and Sirik 4th and 5th respectively. And then the teammate of the pole sitter, Lurok's 22 in 6th place is Loudy Darkmist. So qualifying is over. I'm assuming we're going to have a red flag here for wants to rejoin the race. Unfortunately, he missed out on the qualifying session, so he's going to have to rejoin at the back of the field for this one. Hopefully someone has remembered to let him rejoin. So field's lined up. Some of the field is disappearing. So I'm going to say that everyone's jumping out for the red flag. Like most drivers are vacating the track. So that'll allow punts to rejoin. I'll just duck away for a few quick moments and then I'll rejoin you for the start of this race. Welcome back everyone, just under a bit of a short delay here at the moment. We're trying to get all the drivers on the grid ticked in, ready to go. Of course our room host Spud P666 probably also setting the grid as well as we speak, making sure everyone's in the correct order so that we're all trouble free for this race coming up. Hopefully no more interruptions from this point on and we can have a good clean race amongst everyone. Of course, we've got a couple of team managers from the Shade On Racing team and, of course, Robbo Sport joining in, viewing the stream. So a big shout out to them for joining along, tuning into the coverage tonight. Of course, anyone watching along, let us know where you're watching from, which drivers you're cheering on in this race tonight. We'll make sure we give you a shout out during the coverage wherever we can. Any questions throughout coverage as well, we'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities. As we follow along with the bands, maybe we can get a bit of a non-board lap with him while we wait for this to begin. Looks like the stream dropped out quickly. Apologies for that, but it looks like we're back up into service now. And looks like we've got the word from Spud P666, who will be starting this race very shortly. Of course, we're following along with our pole sitter Lurox 22s, trying to get some extra laps in before the start of the race. And Spud P666 has now hit the start race button. So we're just a few seconds away from getting underway here at Fuji Speedway for the Pacific Grand Prix, round 12 of the Formula Track Stars Series. And we have Lurox 22 starting on the pole position. So Slayer 1991 joining on the front row, defending champion and series leader, and Spud P666 on third, and then JMX in fourth. So as we get ready to go, the lights start to go. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are green and racing. Looks like a bit of wheel spin from Lurox. A bad start there from him. But it says Slayer and N-Spud. N-Spud looking to jump in the lead, but it's actually JMX who takes the lead into turn 1. N-Spud shuffled down the 3rd place. So it's JMX leading away from Sir Slayer, N-Spud P666, Loudy Darkness sitting in 4th, and then Pulsar Lurox had a terrible start there, has dropped back to 5th place, and is coming under attack from Sirik, who himself is coming under attack from Broccolilly. And then you've got the pairing of Thiswood 1 and Nightwalker 964 for the CP Motorsports team. Although I think someone made a move. No, they didn't. But now Nightwalker moving ahead of Thiswood here on the opening lap. Makes a move down the inside, gets the job done, moves up into 8th place. Broccolilly making a move down the inside of Sirik. Did he get the job done? They run side by side into turn 14. Nightwalker gets up the inside of Sirik, but he gets out of shape there on the exit of the corner, so that's going to open the door. And not Broccolilly, I don't think. It's Little Blacko that's getting up the inside of both the CP Motorsport cars. Broccolilly has a wobble out of the corner. Nightwalker, Little Blacko, Diswood all fighting out for 8th place. And of course, Sirik in 7th, coming under threat from the slipstream. And they go free wide in the turn 1. Little Blacko makes a move up the inside. Nightwalker gets the job up done on Sirik. And it looks like Diswood has even moved ahead of Sirik there into 9th place. We look a little further back. We've got Caban's running in 11th. And now Ponce has just made the move into 11th place. And Jono stands just behind in 13th. Slow start to this race, sort of not what you expect from Jono Stan. You expect him to be making moves early on in this one. Oh, a bit of contact there between the two teammates and Punts as well, so not sure what happened there. Let's see if we can get a replay of that one. Looks like Van's just moved over a little bit, got caught out by Punts. Tried to move across to make a bit of evasive action, but in the end, Jono Stan was the one that won out the most from that one. He's now up into 11th place on the charge, looking to get into the top 10 ahead of Sirik. At the moment, Punts is a bit further down in 12th place. Bit of a battle pack form there. Jono getting right down the inside, just outbreak himself a little bit. Allows Sirik to do a bit of an under and over and hold on to that 10th spot. See battle going on here. We've got Broccolilly sitting in 4th place, N-Spud P666 in 5th. So 5th at the moment and 11th, well 12th for Punts would be enough for N-Spud to take the championship tonight. Blacko's in 7th place, having a battle there with Nightwalker 964, and then on the tail of Lurox 22, of course Lurox and Little Blacko pairing up in the Trackstars Touring Car Series endurance races, driving the number 35 EBM Motorsports car at Kyoto in the Bathurst 1000 as well. So, but tonight they're not teammates as such. Certainly fighting each other for position here, and Little Blacko obviously starting on the soft tyres, moving himself up to 6th place, so off to a good start there from Little Blacko. As Nightwalker is on the mediums, and it'll be interesting to see. Rourke's is starting on the hard, so he's coming under threat from the soft and medium tyre runners at this early stage of the race, but so we'll have to look out for him to charge up through the order later on this race. Though Lurox will be hoping he doesn't fall too far back, because at this stage the likes of Jono Stan and Diswood are on hard tyres, so they don't want to fall back too much further. Of course, Sirik is on hard tyres as well. Punts is back in 12th place, 2nd place in the championship at the moment. Now within half a second of Lurox, so amongst the hard tyre runners, I think Lurox is the leader amongst that group, so this will be important for Jono Stan to get in front. Exert his authority over those that are running on the hard tyres early on in this race, and he's got the job done there on Lurox. I think Lurox has just run wide at that corner there, so might have to get a bit of a replay of that one. Yes, he just missed the apex there, ran wide off the track and just opened the door for Jono to go straight past there. Very simple move for Jono to get done. And now Jono's going to start moving towards the likes of Nightwalker, who's on the medium tyres at the moment. So Jono's showing good pace at the start of this race. He'll be one to watch later on gets onto a softer tyre towards the end. But out in front, at this stage, it's JMX on medium tyres, so he's doing a great job in this opening stint. He's slightly harder tyre than probably some of the drivers around him. He's doing an excellent job holding on the first place here, ahead of Loudy Dark Mist and Broccolilly. And then of course there's Slayer running in fourth, just out of the podium spots at this stage, but Little Blacko on the charge at the moment, up in the fifth spot. We're really looking at hunting down these lead drivers. So Slayer on mediums. Broccolilly on mediums as well, and same with Loudy Dark Mist. So Little Blacko going with the soft tyres. I think he's one of the only ones to be on the softs at the start of this race. So he'll be looking to get through these cars very quickly and establish as much of a lead as possible over the rest of the field. Try and hang on at the end of this race. Just had a look back. Nightwalker's made the move on N-Spud P666. That'll take him up in the 6th place. Let's get a quick replay of this. Goes out slipstream, gets a great run there on N-Spud. As we head down towards turn 1. He's very much clear of N-Spud, so good braking down the inside. Gets the job done there on Spud. Now he's going to set about hanging on to this lead, maybe catching up to those runners ahead of him on the medium tyres. So actually N-Spud's on the hard tyre as well, so he's doing a great job. Completely forgot, I actually thought that he'd started on the medium, so he's started on the hard tyre as well. Which means he's saving the mediums and the softs for later on in this race. Of course, Jono Stan coming up to the back of him, also on the hard tyre as well. We head back to the front. JMX still leading the way in this one. Into a 1.2 second margin over Loudy Dark Mist. Well, that's dropped well under a second now. So it must have been a good run under brakes from Loudy Dark Mist, although it's jumped back out. So I'm guessing JMX is prioritising his corner exits rather than deep dive under brakes. So we've got a battle here from Lil Blacko. Gets down the inside into this turn 6 hairpin. Looking to get a good run out of this corner. Use the traction of the soft tyres to try and get ahead, but he can't quite get the job done. He's going to switch around and try and make a run up the inside here into turn 10, the Dunlop chicane. He gets the job done. Moves up in the 3rd place. Now his next target is Loudy Dark Mist in the Robo Sport Racing Honda engine car. Blacko will be looking to make the most of the soft tyres at the start of this race. He'll be hoping that there's no safety car later on in this one. So Slayer picks up a penalty, pulls over to burn that off. Blacko sitting in the top 3, bearing down on Loudy Dark Mist for 2nd place at this stage of the race. 8 laps into this 44-lap race here at Fuji Speedway, round 12 on the Track Stars Series in the Pacific Grand Prix. And amazingly, Broccolilly's just hanging on to the back of Little Blacko here, so certainly doing a very good job there on these medium tyres to hang on. Blacko runs a bit deep there into turn 10. That's going to be costly. It's going to bring him under attack from Broccolilly again. Hopefully, Broccolilly might just be a bit sensible, not attack his teammate at this stage of the race, knowing that they're on different tyres. Looks like Broccolilly's ran wide himself there, so he manages to come out still in front of Sir Slayer just, but Sir Slayer gets down the inside. takes 4th place. And look at Jono Stan sitting on the hard tyres at the moment. He's in front of Nightwalker on mediums. So Jono already up to 6th place in this one. I think he started around the 10th place mark and was outside the top 10 at the start of this one, but now up to 6th place using some strong pace on the hard tyres. This will bring him into play later on in this race. Jono Stan just picked up a 1 second penalty here for exceeding track limits, so he's going to have to slow down. That might drop him down the order here. Stan pulls over to burn that penalty, slows down, gets back up to speed. He's dropped behind Zurich. There's plenty of margin there between himself and Puntz. 7 seconds back. Another driver who's really struggling here is the number 22 of Lurox. Started off pole and has dropped all the way back outside the top 10 at the start of this one. And of course we've got Diswood one sitting 4th place in the championship, probably looking to jump into 3rd after this round. He's certainly not having a great run in this early stage of the race. We look a bit closer to the front of the field. JMX still 1.4 seconds out in front, so hanging around that 1.4, 1.3 mark. Blacko second further back on Cloudy Dark Mist at this stage of the race. Certainly, Little Blacko will certainly be looking to make the most of these soft tyres at the moment, but he's really struggling to make inroads on the likes of Cloudy Dark Mist and JMX, so this could hold those two in the first 2 positions in good stead later on in this race. These first 3 make the climb up the hill, probably what you'd call the base of Mount Fuji, which is looming so large in the background of this track. And JMX must have had a bit of a wobble there because he's seen the gap drop to 0.8 of a second, so Cloudy Darkness has taken a bit of time out of him. Second as well, he'll be looking to make a move towards the lead of this race. We're heading to the quarter race mark, so we're on lap 11 of 44. Still another 34 laps to go. So Little Blacko starts to close in on Cloudy Dark Mist, starts to make a push towards making a move into 2nd place. A bit further back, it looks like Inspud might have had to burn a penalty as well there, so he's dropped back behind Jono Stan. Of course, Zurich is actually on the medium tyres. I thought Zurich was on the hard, so he's in a bit of a battle there with a couple of hard tyre runners. Still performing very well in 7th place on his Formula Track Stars debut, alongside Nightwalker 964, who's also making his debut in the CP Motorsports Honda. So both these guys head down the main straight, looking for a place in the top 5. We've also got Sir Slayer and Broccolilly just up ahead. Zurich makes a dive down the inside into turn 1, doesn't quite get the job done, makes better of it, maybe tries to avoid some contact there a bit. Just holds on to 7th place there. We've got Jono Stanton and Spud battling it out for 8th at this stage. Probably a bit of a battle to be see who will be the lead runner on the hard tyres as they head towards a pit stop, as we're just over a quarter of the way through this one. And this will be the first lap that cars will be able to pit and change compounds of tyres at this stage. We'll be looking to see who jumps into the pits at the end of lap 12, takes on some fresh rubber, go towards the end of this race. JMX staying out, same with Loudy, Dark Mist and Little Blacko. Really looks to be faking out Sir Slayer. I believe Jono Stan's heading towards pits as well. And likewise for N-Spud, so they're both going to get rid of their hard tyres. Woods remains out on the track, he'll take over 8th place in this one. And Lurox, Eastwood, all jumping into the pits as well. Get rid of those hard tyres as soon as they possibly can. Get back in this race. Jono takes the medium, same with N-Spud. Vance and Eastwood, as well as Lurox, all getting rid of their hard tyres for mediums. Dano's just run off the track there a bit. He's taken on a little bit of damage, but not enough to cause a safety car. He just gets a bit too aggressive on the throttle across that exit curb. He spins out of control. So I'm going to say that he'll be in for a new set of tyres this lap and to repair some damage. Out in front, it's still JMX in the lead of this race. What's happened to Little Blacko though? He's taken some damage as well. Not sure what's going on there. Let's see if we can get a replay of that one. Oh, on the exit of the final corner, he's gotten out of shape there. Into the wall, taken some rear wing damage. Looks like he'll be heading into the pits for a pit stop here. Probably not ideal. He probably would have wanted to run a bit longer on these soft tyres, but here he is in the pits, and of course we're having a bit of a glitch here with the game. He's waiting for his pit stop as well. Little Blacko onto the hard tyres. Yeah, so we're having a bit of fun here with the game. Apparently it doesn't want to show us Punce's tyres. The gap under a second now between JMX and Loudy Dark Mist. Both these guys 14 laps in on their medium tyres. Neither of them looking to head to pit lane at this stage. Staying in control of this race. Jono Stan's still running in 7th at the moment. So he's made the switch to the medium tyres. He's pulled a bit of a 3-second gap over N-Spud P666. Let's see. Rockaloo's headed into the pits. Let's see what the gap is as they come out. Whether Jono Stan's managed to do a bit of an undercut on him. Looks like he's got the job done there on the undercut. Same with N-Spud, so Jono and N-Spud are both leapfrog Rockaloo in the pits. The likes of Cyric, Nightwalker, Sir Slayer will certainly be on edge a bit. They might be under threat of losing some spots here to Jono Stan and N-Spud P666 at these pit stops. Jono Stan has actually got the fastest lap in this race with 1:22.7, so not sure how recently he did that one. Yes, he just did that one, so fastest lap time from Jono Stan on the medium tyres. Of course, course, I think that was previously held by Little Blacko earlier on in this race, who was on the soft tyres at that point, but lighter fuel loads, new set of tyres, certainly will pay to the advantage of Jono Stan. As Nightwalker 964 is into the pit lane. Let's see how this pit stop will go, where it'll bring him out. That's what tyres he jumped into, so he's onto the hard tyres. Comes out behind Broccolilly in 8th place. Still ahead of Little Blacko, crucially. So Broccolilly and Nightwalker certainly have the advantage over Little Blacko at this point. We've got Poots and Lorox. Sitting in 10th place, Lorox just behind in 11th, outside top 10, of course, Diswood as well. So these guys will be looking to get a move on here in the next few laps, as Jono Stan, I think, has just pumped out another fastest lap. Little Blacko having a burning penalty, trying to get it back up to speed, but this will be a great opportunity for Punts to try and get in ahead of him into 9th place. Closing speed of Punts there on Little Blacko. Very fast there, so Punts will be very much looking to move up into 9th here. And that was Lorox in the background. He's just gone for a spin into the last corner. That's going to drop him down the order. Have a look and see what happened. Just a bit too wide in there. Got onto the grass, tried to get the power down, but just couldn't quite find enough grip to get adhesion to the track. He drops position to Diswood, possibly. No, he's still in front of Cabans though. So we look a bit further up the order. Jono Stan is up in the 4th place now, so Stewart must have headed into the pits. If he has, he's bolted on a new set of hard tyres. He's in between battle with Broccolilly and Nightwalker as well. So Sirik sitting in 7th place. Loudy Dark Mist into the pits now. Same with Sir Slayer 1991. So see what Jono's doing. Jono's going down the main straight. So I think Jono's going to come out of this one in 2nd place. Crosses the line to start lap 18. Loudy Darkness heading out of the pits now. Loudy Darkness gets himself between Jono Stan and N-Spud P666 after that pit stop. Of course, he's probably going to come under pressure from N-Spud as he's swapped to the hard tyres, and Spud is now on the medium, so Spud will be certainly looking to get himself up in the 3rd place in this one. Meanwhile, JMX continues to lead the way. 21 second margin over Jono Stan here. He still hasn't pitted after 18 laps. Looks like he's heading towards pit lane now to complete his pit stop. This will be interesting to see whether he comes out in front of Jono Stan. About a 20-21 second gap between the two. I believe that's Jono Stan heading down the main straight now, so let's see what happens here. I don't think he's going to have enough to get it done. Comes out of the pit lane now. He's going to come out in 2nd place. 1.7 gap over Loudy Dark Mist. Good pit stop there. Keeps himself well and truly in podium contention at this stage of the race. place. So new race leader Jono Stan started out on the hard tyres, had a really great stint on the hards. Set the fastest lap on the mediums, looking strong so far in this one. 2.5 second lead over JMX at this stage. 19 laps into this Pacific Grand Prix. So I think the main one we have to turn our attention to now will be Jens Bud P666. We'll be aiming to chase down Loudy Dark Mist and JMX with a spot on the podium here. Loudy Darkness closing in on JMX here. Loudy probably looking to make a move up into second place, try and get the jump on JMX at this stage of the race. Obviously they're on the same strategy, so at least have a chance of winning. They could being on the podium. They are probably racing each other. Spud on the softer tyre now, all over the back of Loudy Darkness, heading through turns 8 and 9. Certainly be looking to make a move down into the Dunlop chicane. Tries to go a long way around. Looks like N-Spud's going to get the job done here, so N-Spud moves into third place. Championship leader up into third. Meanwhile, probably the only championship contender left in this series, Woods, is down in 9th place, so that'll be, at this stage, that'll be enough for N-Spud to win the championship, but Woods is looking to make a move down the inside of Nightwalker. So he'll be looking to get up the order, make sure he can do whatever he can to make sure that this championship runs all the way down to the final race at St. Croix. N-Spud sitting in third place, probably trying to make a move towards second, at least before his next pit stop. Certainly aiming to close in here on JMX. Take advantage of being on the soft compound tyre at this stage of the race. As JMX will have some way to go on the harder compound tyre. He's done 18 laps, so at the minimum he'll probably have to come in on lap 30 or later in this race to swap the soft tyres, whereas N-Spud's probably got a bit more flexibility here. He could probably take it out to lap 30 himself on the softer tyre. Medium, of course, a bit more durable, could probably last that long. And then a 14 or so lap run on the softs at the end. But N-Spud getting the power down, using the overtake to get ahead. JMX getting right in the slipstream, probably using the overtake button himself. Gets down the inside, bit of contact there between the two, but nothing to do significant damage to either car. And N-Spud gets the job done, moves into second place. His next objective will be to chase down Jono Stan, whereas a bit of contact there continuing on between Spud and JMX. JMX certainly isn't giving up this fight very easily at all. JMX even getting alongside out of the turn 6-7 hairpin. Trying to go the long way around into the Dunlop chicane. Now JMX is probably going to come under pressure from Loudy Dark Mist here. Loudy Dark Mist looking to jump into fourth to third place. And of course we've got Sir Slayer 1991 looming in the shadows as well. He's just a second and a half behind JMX and Loudy Duck. We're certainly having a good run here on the harder tyre. That'll certainly spring him into contention for the podium. And of course, just having a look there, Pulse is up to 7th place. So Jono's stand in the lead. N-Spud P666 sitting in second. 7th place is certainly enough for Pulse to continue on this title battle all the way to St. Croix. So you'd sort of have to hope that N-Spud doesn't even race and he takes the win on the current points. That'll be his only hope of winning the title at this stage. Pulse is about 2 seconds back on Cyric, looking to move up into 6th place. Now moved up into 9th position in this race after using the harder tyres earlier on. Certainly having a much better run on the medium tyres, moving himself past on Blacko into 9th. And Blacko's still sitting inside the top 10, running on his hard compound stint. He might come under pressure a little bit later from Gabans. We've got Lurox sitting back in 12th place, so he's having a really tough time here after qualifying on pole position. Walk was certainly not the run he would have liked. Let's have a look here. Brocker Lilly is really struggling as well. He's all the way down in 13th as well. Looks like he had a 2-minute lap there on lap 21, so he's really struggling on these hard compound tyres, and that's dropped him down the order. Back out in front, Jono stand nearly 9 seconds out in front of N-Spud P666. So after a victory in the German Grand Prix earlier in the year, he's leading the way at Spa, but unfortunately disconnected. And then ran second at Brands Hatch a couple of weeks ago, got caught out by a safety car. Could run softer tyres in the opening 2 stints. And then unfortunately dropped back behind Disappointed, who ran his harder tyre at the start of the race. And Spud's now taking that advantage out to about 3 seconds over JMX. A bit further back, we've got a bit of a battle here between JMX, Loudy Dark Mist and Sir Slayer for 3rd place. Certainly a good run between these guys. Just think that's Nightwalker and Diswood battling it out for 8th and 9th. And Diswood's closing back in on Nightwalker. Be aiming to move up into 8th place himself, overtake his debuting teammate. Diswood gets right out into the grass there on the exit of turn 7. It's really moving in. Not sure what's maybe quite had enough there to get ahead of Nightwalker. Probably thought better of making a move. He's definitely going to make a move this time into turn 13, but doesn't quite make it stick. Certainly searching for a way around his teammate at this point. Now get some draft, but it looks like this was heading to pit lane by the looks of things. Diswood into the pits. He's going to get rid of those medium tyres. We'll go for a long stint towards the end. Same for Gabans and Little Blacko. So Gabans and Diswood probably switching over to soft tyre. Little Blacko have to move with the medium for the rest of the race. Now down to about 18 laps to go. So obviously they've worked out that they can make 18 laps towards the end of the race. Obviously both drivers fulfilling their 12 lap requirements on both the hards and medium tyres, now onto the softs. We have a look at Jono's stand. Jono stands nearly at the 10-second lead over N-Spud P666. So certainly in command of this race at the moment. Max has moved that advantage out to 1.5 seconds over Loudy Dark Mist. Slayer's dropped off a little bit. We'll just have a quick break here. Return shortly with some more action. Alright, apologies for that, just had to take a quick breather there. Return to action now, Jono's stand. Just over 10 seconds in the lead of this race. Over N-Spud P666. I'm guessing he's getting on the overtake a bit now, trying to bring that gap down as much as he possibly can. As he builds a gap over JMX, Loudy Dark Mist, and Sir Slayer. So Nightwalker just jumping into the pits now, making his final pit stop. Sir Slayer's really closed that gap back in on JMX and Loudy Dark Mist. Was out the 2 seconds just a little while ago, and now it's back down to 0.6 of a second between the two. So Slayer found some good speed here. Certainly be looking to get the job done. Not quite Smoko in that break there, but maybe just a little bit of a pit stop of my own in the mid stage of the race. Of course, we've got a few team managers following along, disappointed obviously. Come back from Sydney Motorsport Park. So apparently something has happened to Jono. And Jono has taken damage here, so let's see if there's a replay we can watch. Not sure what's happened there. He must have had a spin somewhere along the lines. And then Spud's jumped in the pit lane for his pit stop. Same with Loudy, Dark Mist and Sir Slayer, so they've left JMX. Maybe they're both going for the undercut on JMX at this stage. Jono's really slowing there. He's got a bit of damage on his car. Certainly losing time to JMX and Sirik. Let's see what happens here. I think he would be due for a pit stop at this stage, so certainly something that he can get done really soon. He gets down the main straight now. He's certainly heading into pit lane, so I'm going to say that N-Spud's going to assume the lead of this motor race here. Of course, that's if Sirik and JMX heading into the pits. Sirik also heading into the pits, so it will be N-Spud that'll take the lead of this race here. We now tick over to 14 laps remaining in this one. N-Spud takes the lead with JMX, Jono Stan and Sirik heading in the pit lane. Jono Stan comes out in second. He's got actually over an 8-second margin over Jono Stan there. Jono will now be on the charge. Really have enough to gain over these final 14 laps. He's really getting on the charge straight away. He's starting to make inroads there on N-Spud. So these could be some really blinding laps here from Jono Stan as he tries to chase down his second victory of the season. Well, maybe wrong there. He might have taken another victory earlier on in the year. Definitely know that he took the win at Germany. So just his sole victory in Germany. And his debut in the series, but second at Japan. Fortunately a DNF at Spa, and then missed out on some results in the Italian Grand Prix and then the Australian Grand Prix later on. It's now down to 7.5 seconds. JMX really on the charge today, so JMX certainly giving Jono Stan something to think about. And it might not only be Jono Stan that is hunting down N-Spud, but JMX as well. And JMX, of course, is very quick in these machines. The gap between Spud and Jono now down to 6.5 seconds, so great sectors there from Jono Stan. He's 6/10 up on what is now Puntz's fastest lap time of 1:21.5. Let's have a look. So Sirik and Puntz battling it out for 6th and 7th, although I'm going to assume that Puntz has just burned a penalty there. He's now coming under threat from... Actually, Puntz has taken damage somewhere, so that'd be interesting to see. Oh, we've just missed it, unfortunately. I'm not paying too much attention, so Puntz has taken damage here. He's in a bit of trouble, so he's going to head to pit lane. So this could actually nearly decide the championship here. 7th place. So N-Spud now 5.7 seconds in front, so this gap is really dropping significantly between himself and Jono Stan, so certainly coming under pressure from Jono Stan, JMX, so this race is certainly far from over. Got 12 laps remaining in this one. Of course, a little bit further back, Rowdy Dark Mist and Sir Slayer as well. Very much in the mix of this one. Diswood up to 7th place. Lurox is in 8th now. White Walker in 9th. Little Blacko in 10th. Have to go all the way to 12th place to see Hunt, who's just come out of the pits. So he's 3.5 seconds behind Caban, so another driver to keep an eye on is Broccolilli, who's having a lengthy pit stop there, so I'm assuming he's throwing in the towel a bit there. So he drops down to 14th place. Let's check that gap between Jono Stan. So yes, Broccolilli's retired from this one into the pits and disconnect from the room. So that's his day done in this race. So he'll be credited with 14th place finish. Meanwhile, Jono Stan down to 4.2 seconds, a gap between himself and N-Spud P666. He's taken the gap out to 2.5 seconds over JMX, but Jono Stan has next to no overtake left, so he'll have to choose his battle wisely here. Well, it's down to 2.7 seconds between himself and N-Spud, so N-Spud just in vision now. Now 10 laps to go in this race. We're setting ourselves up for a thrilling finish here. So Slayer finally getting down the inside of Rowdy Dark Mist as they run side by side through turn 1. They're going to continue this battle side by side through turns 2, possibly even turn 3. Let's see who gets the advantage here. Rowdy Dark Mist gets the run up the inside, but switch back from Sir Slayer and around the outside through to 100R and into the hairpin. So Sir Slayer getting the job done there. Fine move to get himself up in 4th place in that battle. And now he's going to start setting his sights ahead onto JMX, although 4-second gap behind a quality driver like JMX. I think that just might be a little bit too much, so it'll remain to be seen what happens in these closing laps, but I would suggest that JMX will hold on to that 3rd place finish. And yes, a good point there from Disappointed in the comments, saying that if Spud can stay close enough, he may be able to use the overtake to his advantage at the end of the race. It's certainly a very good point. Jono Stan now at 2.5 seconds, so he hasn't really gained a lot in that last lap, so the overtake's dried up. Maybe he's just not quite got that raw pace over N-Spud at this point now. So just a couple laps ago it was a 120.6, and as I say that, Jono Stan's taken well over half a second, nearly a full second in those 2 sequences of corners. So we're down 9 laps to go here in this one. And Jono's a 10th underneath his fastest lap time with no overtake, so he's really using up his speed here. Really closing in here on N-Spud P666. Interesting to see what happens here, of course. The earlier he can get to N-Spud P666, 6, the more he'll have to make him use that overtake to stay in touch in this case. So that could also work into Jono's advantage. The more he can get Spud to use the overtake, the more chance he has of winning at the end, where he can just go head to head without any overtake between the two. So down to 1.2 seconds now. 8 laps left in this race. As Jono Stan hunts down his second Formula Track Stars victory. Of course, N-Spud has a giant haul of victories over the first 2 seasons. I think something like 12 or so race wins. Actually, 8 wins over the first 2 seasons of this series. And Jono now well under a second from the lead of this race. And of course, we can't forget about JMX, who's sitting just a little bit further back. Maybe he might have something to say about taking second place as well. So we're heading around the final corner, about to reach the end of lap 37. This time around there'll be about 7 laps to go in this race. Jono Stan under 3/10. He's got the slipstream here. Will he make a move? N-Spud goes on the defensive. Jono Stan looking to go to the outside. Holds it around the outside. He's got a bit of a run here. It looks like Jono Stan didn't quite have enough, and now he's going to try and go around the outside again. Gets the inside line into the hairpin. They run side by side through here. Using as much of the track as possible, they still stay side by side. Heading towards the Dunlop curve. Let's see what's happened. N-Spud's on the defensive again. Really tight line here. This is bringing JMX back into the battle as well. Jono Stan gets up the inside into turn 13. Can he get the job done? Not quite. Still leaves the door open for N-Spud into turn 14, 15. They run side by side here, heading to Panasonic. Jono Stan going to be looking for the run down the main straight. Gets a good exit there, right on the tail of N-Spud P666. So Jono getting the slipstream. Not quite as defensive from N-Spud there this time around. Let's see whether Jono can get the move done. Gets down the inside, not quite enough. Jono has to run this time around, and I don't think N-Spud has the overtake available to him. So let's see what happens here, and Jono gets the move done. He's in the lead of the race, and N-Spud's got a penalty. So N-Spud's going to have to burn that off. That could leave him under attack from JMX. Let's see what happens here. JMX is only... Yes, JMX goes through in the second place, so... From the lead of the motor race down to third place within 2 corners for N-Spud. He'll really be kicking himself there with that penalty. And now Jono Stan is out with a 2-second lead. 6 laps remaining. JMX got 1.3 seconds over N-Spud as well. So let's see what overtake. N-Spud does have a lot more overtake left, so he could use that to his advantage in these closing laps. As we look at Sir Slayer, he's just 4 seconds further back. And then of course Sirik on debut, putting in a great performance there, up in the 5th place. He's moved ahead of Loudy Darkness. So 2 pit lane esports entries inside the top 5. So we've got 5 laps left in this race. When we look at Diswood is about 10 seconds further back, so I'm going to say that 7th place is going to be where Diswood finishes this one. Mike Walker sitting in 8th. Vlorik's about 1.3 back in 9th place. And then Kuntz is up in the 10th, although he's got a penalty that he hasn't burnt, so I'm not sure what's going on there. might come under the wrath of the stewards a bit later on in this one. Little Black O sitting outside the top 10 and 11th. And then Gabans in 12th and Dano, the last of the runners, in 13th. At this stage, Jono Stan continuing his march towards victory. Had a little bit of a blip there before his final pit stop. Had a bit of an incident, took some damage. Dropped to about 7 or 8 seconds behind Enspud, but managed to reel him in. Great little battle there between the two, but Jono Stan managed to win out in that one, and unfortunately Spud took a penalty there, so let's have a look a little bit further back, and so Slayer now is just within a second of Enspud, so not sure if Spud's used up all of his tyres in the battle, but he's certainly coming under a bit of pressure here from Sir Slayer, who's sitting in 4th place. At this stage, it will be Enspud P666 who becomes a back-to-back champion in the Formula Track Stars Series, as Ponce is sitting down in 10th place at this stage, so that'll be enough to take a more than 150 point margin into the final round of the series. Now he's just moved that margin out a bit, and so it's like it's sort of stabilising a bit. Not sure what battles we've got going on. Just have a bit of a look further back. Nightwalker and Lurox. Nightwalker, of course, on debut here with the Formula Track Star Series. Running the CP Motorsports Honda. Doing a very fine job, sitting in 8th place at this stage. Top 10 on debut is definitely a very good result for Nightwalker. Of course, Sirik, also a fellow debutant. He's running in 5th spot at the moment, so 2 fine performances from both the debutants. As Nightwalker will cross the line, and there'll be 3 laps to go at this point. He's just built up a bit of a margin over Lurox there, so maybe just doing enough to make sure that he holds on to 8th place. And I just noticed that he's got a full overtake bar, so looks like no one's mentioned to him to assign a button for the overtake by the looks of things, because he didn't use any overtake in the TSF2 race as well, so obviously hasn't got that button assigned for this. Maybe something you have to look towards doing in the future. But Jono Stan now out to a 5-second margin over JMX. 2 laps remaining in this race. It's like a comfortable cruise to victory. Wonder what, Enspud's down to 1.8 seconds behind JMX. He's really on the charge here, using as much of that overtake as possible to get close to JMX. Interesting to see, he's gone purple in the 1st sector. He's really working hard on closing that advantage and trying to finish off this championship with the highest possible finish. Of course, 1 more round to go, but Enspud has pretty well got this championship wrapped up here. And this result today will certainly get him that 150 point buffer he needs heading into the final round. It will put this championship well beyond doubt. Isn't quite doing enough to close that gap down. JMX got a little bit of overtake at his disposal if he needs to use it. I think he's going to use all of that here. No, he doesn't quite use all of it, just a little bit to get himself accelerating out of the corner, but he's very much got plenty in store. Enspud nearly consumes all of his as well. don't think it's going to quite be enough, so it'll probably be a third place finish for N-Spud P666. But Jono Stan, after his incident earlier on, out to a 6.5 second lead as he heads towards the Dunlop chicane for the last time. Very much cruising to victory here. A little bit of a scare earlier on, but he overcame that. Brought down the margin to N-Spud. Gets a bit sideways coming through the final sector. Not sure if that was on purpose or maybe a little bit of an accident he had to control. He'll come around Panasonic corner for the final time, heading towards the main straight. And it'll be Jono Stan for It's Racing Esports. He'll come across the line and take victory here in the Pacific Grand Prix here at Fuji International Speedway. Jono Stan, your victor tonight. JMX crosses the line in second place. N-Spud P666 in third. Now we just wait to see where Punts finishes. Slayer fourth. Sirik crossing the line for fifth on debut, top 5 finish. Here comes Loudy Darkness in sixth. This Wood heading towards the final corners now, so I believe so you'll need this Wood and Lurox across the line in 7th and 8th. So here comes Lurox and Nightwalker, so that's 8th and 9th. So at this point, N-Spud P666 will be your 2021 Formula Track Stars champion. Wrapping it up with a round to go here at Fuji International Speedway. So Lurox finishes 8th, Nightwalker 9th on his debut. Little Blacko coming across the line in 10th place. So he'll round out top 10. Unfortunately for Punts, he hasn't quite done enough to take the championship down to the last round, so looks like it's all signed, sealed and delivered as far as the championship goes. And then Gabans crosses the line in 12th. Dano, the last of our finishers, in 13th. But there you have it. Jono Stan, your victor, standing in victory lane with the reef around him and collecting the trophy. So a quick recap of the results there. Jono Stan, of course, taking victory by 6 seconds over JMX in second place for Pit Lane Esports. N-Spud P666 crossing the line in third, doing more than enough to be crowned a back-to-back series champion in 2020 and 2021 of the Formula Track Star Series. Sir Slayer crossing the line in fourth. I think that's his second or third race with Formula Track Stars, so a great performance for him. Sirik again on debut. Top 5 result, very strong for him. And certainly be catching the eye of plenty of the team managers up and down pit lane with that performance. Loudy Darkness leading the way for Robo Sport Racing in 6th place. Same with this Wood for CP Motorsports. Lurox crossing the line in 8th for Robo Sport Racing. Nightwalker in the 2nd CP Motorsports entry in 9th. And then Little Blacko rounding out top 10. 2nd place in the championship, Punts. He's just outside top 10, and then Gabans is in 12th. And then Dano finishing a lap down in 13th place. And then, of course, Broccolilli retiring from this race. So a big congratulations to Jono Stan again on becoming the winner of the Pacific Grand Prix round 12 of the Formula Track Stars. And then, of course, big congratulations to N-Spud P666, who will be your 2021 Formula Track Stars champion, pending any post-race investigations. But by the looks of things, I'm pretty sure that will be a done deal, that he'll be our series champion again this year. Just might see if we can get possibly get spud in for an interview, possibly. Just wait for word from Spud whether we can get him in. Looks to be a bit busy chatting in the text chat. All right, he's finally joined us here. Our third place finisher in tonight's race, the Pacific Grand Prix round 12 of the Formula Track Stars series, Spud P666. And firstly, I know it wasn't quite the result you wanted, but you still hung on for the podium. And by my calculations, I think you've done enough to seal the championship with one round remaining. So congratulations on becoming a back-to-back champion.
Thanks, Jarman. Thanks, everybody. It was a very tough one. I mean, at the beginning, when I was going on the hard tires, it just literally for those 12 laps, I just couldn't find any grip on that whatsoever. It's just every lap was just slipping and sliding, and then getting overtaken by the medium runners, and then everyone. I mean, credit to everybody tonight. Everyone was really clean, looked like good fun out there. Especially me down in the midfield. So it was great fun for everybody. I did my own calculations at the beginning of the week, and I thought, well, I have to see what the points are like. So I knew I had a big lead, but I didn't think it was going to be that big, to be honest. And so then when I did my rough calculations, I got third place, and my teammate Punts needed to finish 9th or higher, but unfortunately he finished in 11th. So I think like you said, unless barring any penalties, I think that is the case. That I do have the double championship, which is great for myself and for the team.
Yeah, it's certainly a very good effort. Unfortunately for Punts, he had a bit of a mistake there towards the end, which took some damage and forced him the pit.
What happened to him? Did he make a mistake on the last corner?
I'm not sure. It looked like it was sort of in the middle stage of the lap.
Okay. Because I saw his name up as high as 7 or as 6 and as 6th place. I was like, oh, good job. Like, well, I know pretty sure we've got the team's championship wrapped up as well. But when I saw him drop down the field, it's just like, oh, something's happened to him. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I just missed that on the stream, but yeah, I saw him dropping down the order behind Sirik and that, and switched over, and he had damage, unfortunately. But yeah, probably his downfall was probably your gain, and you're able to wrap up the championship here. But of course, let's talk about that race as well. Obviously, Jono had that mistake towards his final pit stop, and you came out probably 8 seconds in front of him once the pit stop cycled through. But he certainly put a lot of pressure on you, and unfortunately, you got that track limits penalty as well.
Yeah, so when I saw the yellow flag, I thought it was just going to be more or less a back marker, but then I just see the number 1 pop up on this when I was exiting turn 7. I thought, oh, that's a Jono stand there. Like, what's happened here? And then essentially, yeah, I think he was just struggling just to keep that car, like, just get the dirt off the tires, and he was just, I think, more or less just trying to scrub off the dirt as much as he could. But I just had more pace. Obviously, the worn tires on the tarmac is a lot better than tires on dirt. But then I thought to myself, well, I know he's struggling at the moment, and if I stay behind him one more lap, he's going to pull away. So I thought, all right, let's gun it. Let's take a risk and let's just try an undercut. And yeah, came out with an 8.5 second lead over Jono after that pit stop, and I think that was going to set up to be a classic finish at the end there. But unfortunately, with my half seconds and then a second penalty, just cutting that turn, it's just cutting Coca-Cola corner at turn 2. It's very fine margins on that one.
Yeah, it certainly looked a bit close there for me, and I think you were just a little bit over. But yeah, it probably definitely robbed us of what would have been a really exciting finish between you two at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the battle that we have with John, I mean, I obviously have a teammate. He's my teammate for the Enduros, and we share a bit of information, and we share. Obviously, I know he's a lot faster than me when it comes to the touring cars, but in the formulas, he's just got the edge over me. But it was great to have like that wheel-to-wheel battle that I was hoping to have with Jono, and pretty much I enjoyed like you could probably say half the track or 3/4 of the track we were more or less side by side and just battling each other, and it was just so much good fun between the two of us. And yeah, full credit to him. He's just a very professional driver for Jono, and a big congratulations to him for taking the victory.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and yeah, it was very exciting to watch these guys go side by side for what was probably nearly half the lap there. And I haven't seen anything like that for a very long time, actually. So congratulations to both of you on a great race, and of course a great season as well for you that's culminated in taking the championship for the second time in a row.
Yes, well, I just want to say, like, thanks to the admin, thanks to yourself and Ryan and Robbo and the behind the scenes with the management stuff and taking care of all of this. Been a great season. I've enjoyed the racing every single moment. As a team, I'm pretty happy of what we've accomplished as a team. Punts getting a couple of victories, and then myself getting victories and podiums, and I think that's what accumulated to the championship. So very happy with the double back-to-back, but now it's time to focus on trying my best to defend another title in the touring car championship.
Yeah, of course, you've got some really tough races coming up. Of course, Nürburgring next weekend, and then Spa, and then the St. Croix 1500 as well, which will be packed full of a lot of challenges. So how are you thinking? Well, what are your hopes for the final 3 rounds of that series as well?
Well, I have a feeling that the Nürburgring is going to be the benchmark. It's going to be the challenge for amongst all drivers, amongst the 14 drivers. It's like whoever can get the setup right and whoever can keep the car on the tarmac will eventually be the winner of the race, because I feel like any mistake that a driver makes, it could be either Woodsy that makes a mistake or yourself that could make a big mistake and get yourself engine damage, or get yourself like a front right suspension damage or whatever. So it's going to be the toughest race, and I think whoever wins that race will pretty much be the standard bearer for the rest of the season, for the rest of the remaining races we have coming up. But yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to the one next week, and hopefully I think we'll give it a shot. I would say I'm a slim outside chance of getting back-to-back titles, but I'll give it my best, and I'll try and drag the Lexus up the front of the grid.
Yeah, that's definitely all you can hope for. So yeah, thanks for joining us for a quick chat after this race, and yeah, again, congratulations on the series championship.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you for streaming, Jarman. Very much appreciate it.
Not a problem. And yes, I'll quickly wrap this up again. So, on behalf of myself, Jarman Dalitz, and everyone at the Track Stars Racing Series, thanks for joining in tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next week for some more action, of course, starting with the TS3 touring cars at the Red Bull Ring, and then, of course, TS2 and the EBM Touring Car Series, both taking on full Nürburgring for the Green Hell 250. So thanks a lot for joining in, and I will see you